Okay. Okay. Here we go. All right. So we're going to continue the interview here. We're going to continue the interview. Um, like I said, welcome weekends tomorrow. You click the link. You can get all the details. All right. Here's how the About Me section looks. Once again, all the details. Very easy to do. Make sure you go to occultcornerstore.com. You'll be set up for success, okay? Um, part of what I've been getting at here about the coloring. Um, there's a phrase, the medium is the message. So when you're coming, especially when you're coming from only viewing things from an emotional lens, the medium is very much the message. So let's say you're breaking up with someone, right? And what you're going to convey in semantics is, I think we should take a break, and that's it. Now there's the semantics of it, okay? But if you say that in person versus saying that through a text message, now the medium has changed. But because the medium has changed, the message is changed. And look, because both of these are participating. The medium and the semantics of the message are participating with each other. So I'm very aware that the medium of my presentation conveys certain things. But what it's conveying, if you can't see the glasses on your face, you'll miss. But I'm doing that somewhat intentionally because you have to bump up against that. So if you're listening to me and you need me to be calm and complimentary and convey to you a particular feeling before you can hear what I'm saying, I guarantee you're doing that in other places. To where you're not actually hearing what's being said. You're hearing how you feel and how you want to feel and how you don't want to feel. And so you're inundated in the medium as opposed to the message. It's not to say the medium has nothing. In areas, if you just change this, if you just give me the medium a different way, I would take it in. And that's not the case. Because look, I think we should see other people, right? You put that in a text message. Well, why would they send me this in a text? They should have just sent this. They should have came and been brave and said it to my face. Okay, maybe you're right. But if they had said it to your face, would you have been more receptive? Probably not. Probably not. Because I'm not trying to get everyone. I know this isn't going to hit everyone. Um, so it's kind of the first test is, can you hear something even if it's not what you wanted to hear? Because really, you mean you're pursuing the deepest levels of reality. What happens when you run into something that you didn't want to see? Are you going to reject it? You have the choice. See, if you'll choose to reject the thing you didn't want to see, didn't want to hear, didn't want to know, but what you're doing is counterintuitive to the expanding of the awareness that you're pursuing. Are you saying the medium is the means through which someone conveys something? I am saying that, but I'm saying a little more and saying that medium participates with what's being conveyed. So it's not simply or merely a means of conveyance. It's there's also a participation, a way in which the medium and the message are participating to take you to a place beyond both of them. This is why, look, rhetoric is important. The art of speaking, the art of persuasion, it's important. However, if all you do is lean into the persuasion side, the actual content of what you're saying gets ignored. Like this was the debate back with Socrates between the sophist and the philosopher. The sophist was only concerned with the rhetoric side. It convinced you of anything. You go to this side of town and convince the fishermen that they should have full reign of the docks. And then in the evening, I go over to the politicians and convince them that they should limit the access that fishermen have to the docks. And so all I've done is been persuasive on both sides, and I have no concern with the truth. In fact, I've made the truth whatever you can convince someone of. That's what the sophist does. And that's out here. Because look, the currency is attention. Engagement. I gotta get your attention. So this is where bullshit lives, in the land of the sophist. Because bullshit isn't concerned with what's true. It's how convincing it is. It's how salient it is. It's how much it grabs your attention and fosters your allegiance. And if that's what you're tracking, you're gonna miss truth. Because all you're going to end up following is what moves you, what feels a certain way. And it's not to say there's no value there. It's to say if you cannot see deeper than that, you're going to miss the value. Miss the value that's deeper and miss the value at the depth you're looking. There's a place you have to go beyond those to actually be engaged with philosophy. With philosophy, philosophia, the love of wisdom, where you're actually engaged at the level of becoming wise as opposed to being convinced and feeling a certain way. So yeah, look, I could spray the bullshit, boy. It'd be some beautiful bullshit, sprinkles and flowers. Like, oh, I feel so close to you. It feels like we're speaking the same language. I finally found a like-minded person. Oh yeah, it's I think in NLP it's called manufactured rapport. Oh yeah, that's simple. That's Jedi mind tricks all day. Well, hit you with the smooth genjutsu that can have you convinced. But I don't want to convince you. Could. I'm not interested in it. I'm more interested in what already convinces you. And how did you become convinced of that? Well, I don't know. You have to look a little deeper. I don't know isn't an answer. It's just reiterating the fact that you don't yet have an answer. So it's not somewhere to stop. Sai, good to see you in the chat. Amar, participates so much so that both are changed or not what they came in being. If both the participation changes both. We're usually so caught up in the two things that are participating, we miss the relationality of the participation itself, because it moves beyond what we tend to notice coming out of our culture. So that has to be disrupted. Wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. I never got too deeply into NLP. Oh yeah, look. Ask Amar. Actually, she'll let you know about it. It's called manufacturing rapport. So yeah, it can be convincing, and people. This is what happens when people come in here trying to chase confidence. You know, they want to feel a certain way because they're used to trying to ride or chase a particular feeling, and that's the only time they feel like they're moving forward. But it's missing. It's missing the real depth, the rich depth. It's like having a runner's high. You know, people who do running, they'll tell you, okay, so at first, you start out and, it's time to run today. This is going to be great. You know, when you get out there and you're going, all of a sudden you're sweating, you're tired, your muscles ache, and that feeling you started with ain't there. And this is where most people stop. Why? Because they were only really doing it for that initial feeling. That's as much as they knew already. That's as much as they were looking for. And when that's gone, you stop. But people who get the runner's high will tell you, no, 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 no. You got to push through that. Because on the other side of it is something that is not described by those first two feelings. The feeling of, oh, this is going to be great. Oh, this sucks. The place you get beyond that, the place where you're in that runner's high, is beyond those things. And that's the wave you want to catch. That's the wave you want to catch. But you'll never get there insofar as you stop as soon as it doesn't feel good. As soon as it's not fun. In fact, that's where you're trying to get to so you can go through it. That's the only way you're going to get there. That's the only way you're going to get there. Like Seymour said previously in the interview, look, this shit ends up being everything you didn't want the work to be. Yeah. Fair. Very fair. Very fair. All right, so let's continue with the interview.
There's maybe it's not being afraid to speak is what you're talking about. Yeah.
And this is where I see that third thing I still couldn't put into words. It's okay, afraid to speak, afraid what you're speaking about. So that kind of sits in the middle. But there's a being heard in that I think that's where the thing that's really coloring is at. It's that there's a being heard, a presenting yourself in it that comes along with you speaking up. That's not in the words, it's in the act. It's in how you participated. Damn. I'm saying damn because I don't know how to get into that yet. That's the point, though. At least I can see that. Well, that makes a lot of sense. That it's contact, where it's like where you're in contact with the entire episode of you saying something, what it is you're saying, and being seen and heard. Like that seen and heard thing. There's something about that that's scary.
It almost seems like it's out of your control, right? It's like, well, if yeah, it almost seems like that because I'm looking at it as well. There's like a part of me is telling me, well, you don't have control of the feedback, right? So it's like you're almost putting yourself out there. You almost have to do the thing without and knowing that I can't control it, and that makes it uncomfortable. Right. So it's like you're taking a chance, like, and then knowing that I'm gonna be uncomfortable and having to deal with that. Right. So it's like it's the risk of making one move. Like this one move comes, and the one move is just not just one move. Like you just said, it's like speaking, being out there. So this one move is more than just one move. That one move, right? It's almost like in Pokemon, like you make a move, but it also has damaging. And say, for instance, you said Pikachu electricity, or like the one move comes with electricity, it comes with damage, it comes with the energy it takes to put out that, you know what I'm saying? It comes with and then it's like, then a person could attack. So it's like so much come with that one move, then it's like it's almost like you're taking a chance. And you're not you're not in control of what you get back, and it's like that's kind of scary as well within itself, right? It's like wanting to be in control of the entirety of the thing, but then there's this like when you make that move, there's this acceptance there that okay, you agree that you don't control, you're not in control, but I'm gonna do it anyway. and whatever I get, I'll deal with it then. And I think, and then I guess once you begin to do that, it's like there is some type of control. Like, but what you control is your choice, and it's like once you make that choice, you're like, whatever I get back, it's like, well, I have a choice to deal with. You get to deal with it, right? So that's your prize. You get to deal with it regardless. But and if you don't make a choice, like you said, that's a choice as well. So and this is the thing about it too. Like, if you don't make a choice, you still kind of get it's kind of still get a response. So it's a lot that goes into that. So I kind of, that's when you were saying that, I kind of walked through myself with it. It's like, oh damn, I don't control. And the reason I just speak up, I'm like, because when I go back and listen to this, I'm be like, yeah, but it's like cool, like, but because I can see where I can do better, right? I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have said that. Yo, your hat look weird. Nigga, you was in your nose, you didn't even know it. Like, chill out, bro. You'll be all right. Like, and then it's like, yo, other people gonna be seeing this and like, yo, bro, it's all right. You live to see another day. Relax. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you'll be all right.
No, I can get that. Hey, it may even be better than you thought it could be. I know there's plenty of times I thought the thing I gave was shit, and someone's like, man, this is awful. This is amazing. Like, wonderful. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, wow. Shit.
See, that's that whole thing you just talked about. Like, even, I saying, this could be trash, but it's like, what they say, one person's trash, another one's treasure, right? That goes. But, even when we were talking about earlier, saying that, like, it is what it is, like, there's more to that phrase than just saying it. It's like there's actually experiences and detail to that saying. Like, so I think
there's depth to it.
Right,
it's deeper than what it looks like on the surface.
Right. And your every day to day, I mean, it's like if you ask someone to summarize their life in the moment they're in right now, it's like, are you just gonna give a phrase? I mean, most people probably say YOLO or some what they can't call it, won't spoil it type shit, things like that. Like, they give this, they explain the entirety of their life, but it's like, I mean, so that's why you so fucked up. Like, I mean, gotta be way more to it than that. Like, it is what it is, nigga. I mean, it's a lot, man. But I get it. Well, I'm trying to get it. I'm in the midst of it as well. I'm in the midst of it as well.
And Amali, good to see you in the chat. Welcome to the show. Seymour as well. Welcome to the show. Live in action, man. Weird ass hat. Oh no, you good, man. You good. So yeah, that's part of why I wanted to make sure I included this last part, because it wasn't just the questions I wanted to ask, but there's some very valuable, interesting places we went here. Control is one I see a lot. People's avoidance of situations they cannot control, or even having to engage with the inevitability of not having control. So, because what it speaks to is an underlying current in their orientation, in their stance, an underlying current of seeking out more control. And usually, because there's layers to it, man. Bullshit. So under that is the seeking out of control, but it's not a genuine seeking of control. It's more fittingly, it's avoidance of not being in control. See, seeking control and avoiding not being in control are different things. It's like the difference between I don't want to feel powerless versus I want to feel powerful. One is avoiding something, the other is moving toward it. And so even underneath all of that, there's an avoidance of being powerless, being out of control. And that's where the gym is, bro. That's where the thing you actually need is. in order to have the appropriate stance to participate in this dance of this work, the stance is open and vulnerable in a particular way. Like when I say, in order to win a game, you have to have the possibility of losing on the table. So if you're trying to win a game by getting rid of the possibility of losing, you're not going to play the game. You'll never be able to play the game like that. Losing has to be on the table if you're going to win. And see, look, I'm not giving you a secret technique to guarantee a win. Nope. When I say it has to be on the table, it's not just on the table aesthetically. The danger is there. The danger is there. The risk is there, but that's the point. The risk is there, but that's the point. If you're trying to find an avenue where there is no risk, you're not going to get it. You're going to be, your stance is going to be off. And so like in martial arts, you start out and there's a particular stance, right? For each different martial arts form, there's a particular stance, and the stance isn't just your body posture. All right, it's a framing of how you're going to engage and participate. So in Kung Fu, you start with the crane stance, right? Or you have the tiger, right? Both of them are Kung Fu. But what's the difference here? It's how you're orienting yourself to participate in the sparring match. Because if you're oriented in the crane, there's certain movements from that stance that are available to you, that are going to color and inform how you're participating. Versus if you started with the tiger stance or the monkey stance. Each of them come with a type of orientation. And so in order to engage this work, there's a type of orientation you need. And a lot of what you need in that stance, we systematically reject, especially in this culture. We systematically reject it. And good reason. It's scary, uncomfortable. And it diminishes the ideal autonomy that you think you should have. Look, we'll get to places in the guild. We're talking. It's like, look, I know I don't have control, but I don't want to let go of the idea of having control. But it's like, hold on. How does that work? You know you don't have it, but you don't want to let go of the bullshit idea that you have it. And see, right there, it's not your information. It's not what you know. It's your orientation. It's your allegiance. You're in allegiance to your ignorance and bullshit. And it's not an insult to say that. It's like telling somebody doing a basketball shot, hey man, your hand isn't guiding the ball appropriately. It's kind of off, and that's why you're going to the left. Don't insult me. Who do you think you are? You don't know me. It wasn't an insult, kiddo. It wasn't an insult. Even calling it manufacturer poor invokes certain palliative emotions, palliative emotion, I like that. But one could ask what rapport isn't manufactured. Gotta define manufacture, but part of the point is to use what's already latent in the person. Yeah, because this is a good question. To what degree is there any rapport that's not manufactured? It's a good question. Because you could say, look, all rapport is manufactured. Okay, cool. But does that mean all and any rapport is what I'm aiming for? No. See, and you know this from your own seeking of authenticity, and from other people or even from yourself. There's a certain way in which it counts if you relate this way. So if you relate to somebody and the type of rapport you're manufacturing is attempting to manipulate their emotions to get them to agree, as opposed to you participating with this person where you both are taking a journey towards reality. Okay, it's It's a different kind of rapport. And goes back to that discussion between the philosopher and the sophist, where the sophist is they have no notion of actually truth. There is no truth. There's just what you can be convinced of. Whereas the philosopher is like, no, there's truth, but we have to wrestle to get there. And it's not going to be certain. And it may not be universal or always the case. So yeah, rhetoric is a skill. I have to have it to teach. I have to have it to present if I'm going to do it good. But it's really about how you use the damn thing. Fear of being powerless is a motherfucker. I've been working on it. Yeah, look. Start from the place where you're inevitably powerless. Start from there. Like, it's almost in a way of giving up the pursuit of power and embracing the position of being powerless. See, it's you got to do both of those, and I'm not just saying give up on everything. That's the extreme. Slow down. You're missing this tension in the middle. You're dancing with this. You're open and vulnerable to it. You're playing the game to win and fully embracing the possibility of losing. You're playing the game to win, so you're not avoiding losing, and you're embracing that possibility. And you're not shunning away when it moves from being a possibility to becoming an actuality. You're there for it. You're participating in what's going on, as opposed to jumping in and trying to find a way to manipulate it to the way you want. It's like the example I use sometimes in the sessions is like, look, you come into a dance hall and everyone's doing the electric slide. But then you walk in and you want the attention on you. You don't want to have to pay attention to what they're doing. You don't want to have to learn. You don't want to have to follow that. You want to come in, feel good, have the attention on you. So you just walk in, you start twerking. In the middle of them doing the electric slide, you just start twerking. It's not even a twerking song. It's like, no. You have to catch the flow of what's already happening. And so in the realm of the idea of being powerless, you're already powerless. And only through walking that will you be able to recover a sense of where you do have power. And I can go and tell you right now, it's in your choice. It's in your choice. It's always a choice, even if you don't like the options that are available. Would it be accurate to say one got to be equipped with rhetoric, but without aletheia guiding rhetoric, rhetoric by itself turns into sophistry? Yes, that's a good way to say. That's a good way to say it. Without, because aletheia is one particular notion of truth and knowing. It's a notion of attunement. So something is true by virtue of its capacity to more and more efficiently attune you to reality. And that is what truth is, as opposed to truth being some particular presupposition or not presupposition, what's the word? Proposition, there we go. As opposed to truth being some stateable proposition. All right, it's a manner of participating. So yeah, rhetoric is the handmaiden of the wisdom. But if you put the rhetoric before the wisdom, you'll lose the wisdom, and it'll be all rhetoric. Rhetoric is to be in service of the wisdom. Again, very much so. I would say the natural sciences are supposed to be in service of philosophy, especially metaphysics. But we have that the other way around. We're caught up in the knowing by proposition or the knowing by procedure. And so I don't want to know how it works. Just tell me what to do. Right? I get all this. Just tell me what to do. So instead of being caught up in the knowing by proposition, we're like, look, I'll just know because I want to do it. And once I start doing it, then I'll know. And it's like, no, neither of those are deep enough. Neither of those are deep enough. The knowing has to go all the way down into the shape of you, into the shape of what you are, how you participate. So it's deeper than what proposition to know or what procedure to follow. Give me the steps. Give me the steps. And it's like, there aren't steps. There aren't steps. And even if I gave you the steps could seem necessary, but they're not sufficient. I can give you the steps of the electric slide, but the steps, you can have the steps, but that's not enough. There's a type of knowing you get from participating that you cannot distill into a list of procedures or any particular proposition. So you have to learn to get deeper than that. But the way our culture comes out, which inevitably means the way your own cognition is set up, is that we're focused deeply on the proposition or the procedure. And we kind of go back and forth between those two, and you miss the tension in between. It's not balance. I don't like to think of it as balance, because balance does not convey the tension. Because there's a tension there. It's not just a calm, I'm balanced between. No. There's a tension. Think about when you're dancing with somebody. You're not just projecting what you do, you're receiving what they do as you both participate in the music. And all of those are held together. There's a tension. It's not just, oh, I'm here and I'm going with the dance and that's how you really dance. No, there's a tension that's necessary, that you participate in. And you have to be at that level to grab it, to really ride the wave, if you will. Losing has to be on the table in order to win. Yeah, it has to be on the table. You have to play to win. Don't play not to lose, because you never really get around to winning then. Interesting. So a part of it is using what's already in a person in order to create that rapport. Yeah, most definitely. That's a good genjutsu. Yeah, but the caveat is I think we do that already. Use what's already there. And then that goes to what Arius just said about two different approaches. You want to make sure you can notice what's already there. So like when I give the example of like in ancient Egypt, when someone's initiating into the mystery systems, the person who's initiating them already knows what's in them because it's in the culture. It's built into the entire culture. It's built into the language. Okay, it's built into the perspective they're already going to have. So they can mention Ra, Amen, Heru, and all of that already points to something for them. In fact, it even points in a certain way because it comes right out of the tradition. But without the tradition, see, there's no universal way to point to these things. In fact, especially coming out of the secular Western perspective, it's almost like we've been lobotomized of this particular direction to look. And so you'll keep wanting it to be over here, but it's like, no, you have to go over here. Yeah, but tell me how to go over there by pointing to it over here. But it's like, it's not over there. Yeah, but I want it to be here because this is all I understand. Well, that's a call for you to expand what you understand. It's a call for you to grow beyond that. How do I do that? Well, let that go. But then what do I have? Fuck around and find out. Because look, if you let that go, you're not going to have nothing. It'll feel like that. But see, once again, to see what you still have, you have to go beyond that feeling of I don't have anything anymore, I'm lost. You have to go through that. There's no workaround. Now, I can sell you something that feels like a workaround. I can manufacture that shit for you. But I'd rather not. Because look, they gonna come when you realize it was bullshit. And no, I don't want to be the nigga that bullshit you. I don't. I really don't. It would be funny, but I don't. I've been approaching it like thankful I even have a chance to win. I'm lucky to be on the field, win or lose. Well, I think that's a good counter to the fear of losing, to start to open you up to it. Push it further, though. Push it deeper. Go for the win. go for the win. Because look, the appreciation, win or lose, is a big step from the outright avoidance of losing. I won't deny that. But I'm saying where you're taking one step, there's two more steps, at least, to get the follow through. All right. So you actually want to turn towards the win and then start moving toward it. And that'll really talk to you about the integrity of the win-lose position you have. And whether or not you're saying it or you've been actually sitting there. Because if you've just been saying it, then when you actually have to approach the win, you'll go back to where you started. But if you've actually been sitting in that, when you start to approach the win and the evidence of possible loss comes up, it won't stop you. You can see it, you can look at it, and you can still move forward. Pop all the scarecrows up you want, you'll be able to keep going. They'll be salient to you in a different way. As before, when you were avoiding the loss, the scarecrow is salient in a way, oh shit, the farmer is here, I'm about to die, I've got to get out of here. But see, once you move beyond that avoidance and just beyond okay, I can take a win or a loss, you can see beyond the scarecrow. As a matter of fact, the scarecrow will be the sign that tells you, oh, it's fresh veggies over there. That's why the scarecrow's here. There's fresh veggies over there. See, the one who participates with the scarecrow in avoiding losing, who cares if fresh veggies are over there? Who cares what the fuck is over there except the farmer is here and I'm going to die? So it's not that the scarecrow goes away. The way in which you participate with it shifts. I don't have a way to make it feel comfortable because I don't think it's supposed to. But there's room there for me to learn. I got to learn from the kindergarten teachers. I really do. Can you explain that more? What's the that? What's the that you want me to explain more? Like you need the ability to look and make your own maps. No amount of asking for the right map will work if you can't orient to north. You have to question the map you have because there isn't a right map. It's the map and the territory are communicating. So it's not that one map, because the idea of a right map, that's the territory. Like no map is the right map. The territory itself is there, but the territory doesn't give you what a map gives you, and vice versa. So because we're usually not aware of our own maps, so busy trying to use the map as opposed to understanding what the fuck a map is. But yeah, the territory itself is always there. And these are different maps. Like the Bookman model is a map. The atomic model is a map. And certain maps are made to do certain things. And so things like the atomic model, the biological model, which comes from the atomic model, those aren't made to do what we're doing with the spiritual work. So this is why I'm not going to reduce these things to your brain chemistry, your brain wave, the electromagnetic spectrum of the energy and the that's a different map book. Not only are you using the wrong map, the way in which you're using the wrong map shows me there's a thing about maps you don't quite get. And so I have to not only help you to get the thing about maps you didn't quite get, but I also have to introduce you to another map that you can use. It's not because, here, this is the one end-all be-all map. It's like, no. It's that the map that you've been using is literally made not to do what you're trying to do. It's not that the one I'm giving you is the end-all be-all. There is no end-all be-all. So that's the thing you didn't get about maps. It's not an end-all be-all. And once you can start to see that, you can start to see the deficiency with the physicalist, materialist map you've been using. Because it's made not to do It's made intentionally not to point to anything metaphysical. This is why physics is the underlying map of the West today. Because physics it's the metaphysics that postures itself to have no meta. So it's literally made not to do what you're trying to do. But I spend countless sessions lecturing on that, so I don't mind. I can actually do it all day. It's actually very interesting to me. So the methodological map is expressed in the culture and more. It's introduced in the culture, yeah. Because, so let's say, once again, you go back to Egypt, right? A person is coming into the mystery schools from just living in the culture in a general way. But the initiation not only points them beyond the physical world, but it also reorients them in the tradition they've already been. So you get a new role. You get a new way of participating with what was already there. And so you have to see it differently. So yeah, it'll be present in the culture already, but they usually won't notice that until moving through the initiation process. It's a very natural process, I would say. Yeah. And so you'll get the seeds of the methodology coming straight out the culture, but you'll understand how to more thoroughly participate in them after the process of the initiation. So thoroughly that you can guide other people in it. And that'll be the point. Damn, the fact that we've been lobotomized hit is what you're harping about with culture/cognition. Yes, it's the Western lobotomy, right? And it can't express enough. It's not insult. It's not talking down. It's like, look, that thing you're using is made not to do what you want. This isn't he just doesn't like this. He doesn't like this. He wants me to feel this. Like, all that's the language of emotion. If you're listening to me through that, you're going to miss everything I'm saying. Because what I'm saying isn't about which one of us feels a thing. It's about what's there. And once you can see that, then you get a new view of what the feeling around it, okay? But yeah, it's the secular Western view of the world is a very specific world. In our mythos of the West, we like to think of it as progressive, enlightened. You know, we had the Enlightenment era of the West, right? We are now seeing the things that those superstitious ancestors didn't see, and now we're on our way to the engineered utopia. We're going to engineer utopia. We're going to engineer this perfect world. I mean, it's a very Christian endeavor. Don't get me wrong. It's a very Christian endeavor. But usually it's spending so much time trying to posture itself as though it's against religion, it ends up recreating it. You're saying playing to win just in general of life? Well, you can say that. I would say it's good advice just for general physical day-to-day life. No metaphysics. Keep everything you have. Just change this little thing. Play to win. And stop playing not to lose. Play to win. Stop playing not to lose. I can say it as simple as that. But just because I can say it's simple doesn't mean it's going to be easy when you get in there. I can guarantee you that. So, look, the orientation you need to have to the world in order to appropriately participate in the spiritual work, it's a particular type of openness. It's this kind of openness I'm describing in Play to Win. It's an openness that's actually directed towards the win, with full openness to the possibility of everything that might come with losing, even and up to the possibility of never reaching the win. That's got to be in there too. It's a full and deep type of openness. And see, when I say deep, this is really part of where that lobotomizing is coming in. Our ontology of the world is flat. This materialist, physicalist perspective of the world, where we're reducing everything to physics, It's flat. It's flat. It doesn't have a depth to it. It doesn't, and the depth is where you're going to find the meaning in life, where you're going to get the direction, because this is like the cosmic north. Being oriented towards that cosmic north, well, you have to register the depth in the metaphysics to be able to do that. You have to register the depth, and physicalism doesn't come with that necessary depth. I do think what John Vervaeke is doing is interesting with his extended naturalism, but then, like, I even have criticisms of that, but who the fuck is this guy, right? Anyways, like, it does an excellent job of what I would say creating the appearance of depth. So if you ever seen one of those sidewalk drawings where someone like draws a staircase, but they do such a good job that it looks like if I were to step on there, I'd fall down. Like, that's the appearance of depth. It's still the flat sidewalk, but there's such beautiful coloring and detail on it, such elegance, that it looks like depth. But it hasn't actually submitted itself to depth. You couldn't actually walk down or walk up, either way, with that beautiful drawing. It's missed the interiority of reality. The interiority. See, when people say go within, especially when I'm telling you the go within, I'm pointing towards the interiority. Inside of my body? No, numbskull. Remember, what you are is either not your body or more than your body. I'm not pointing to something in your body, but it's telling of what you think you is. The interiority is away from the physical. It's away from the physical. And naturalism necessarily can't capture that. Or there's also the possibility that I have a crucial misunderstanding of naturalism, which I'm very much open to. I'm actually exceedingly curious. But right? Who the fuck's gonna help me with that, right? Physicalism lobotomizes the vertical axis of reality. Yes. This is why I call it bleach. Because bleach makes this fluid completely adverse to any biological life. It cuts off that participation with biological life, and in so doing, participates with the rest of reality in a very specific way. We've untethered ourselves from the heavens. We've cut our connection to the cosmos and the divine off intentionally. And it's in the structure of the culture of the West. It's in the language. And these are things you cannot get away from by merely saying, I don't believe in Jesus. I'm not a Christian. I'm spiritual but not religious. Great, you have new propositions. And you may feel very confidently about them, but you've missed the depth that you necessarily have to register in order to get out of what this culture builds. And it's not a insult. It's not a telling you can never do it and trying to make you feel a certain way. And I'm only frustrated because it's not that I don't care at all about your feelings and telling you not to have them. It's that there's something else here you need to notice. And you won't notice it if you're so desperately clinging to having the emotions guide you. Shout out your footnotes, right? Look, man, I love the footnotes. Yeah, man. Hopefully I'll get that book finished one of these days. Because I already got other books I got to write. Footnotes are fun. Footnotes could have been a whole book, man. Alright, let's continue with the interview, guys. Oh. Yeah, no, I went over everything I need to. I went over everything I need to. Alright.
But there was something else because when we were just talking, there was one more question. All right, what I'm gonna just throw this out there. I guess this probably has nothing to do with the guild or anything. I'm sure you're aware of current news and what's been going around, what is something that you see today that's happening that you would associate with the work that you're doing? Like some of the things that you see today where you're like, say for instance, some of the things that you're making available to your students, you can point to something today and be like, here is something that is this making sense? I'm just trying to formulate a strange question that has to do with current news and today's world and in the work that you present. Like maybe an attitude, a framework.
In the question, I'm trying to find an answer that it almost sounds like there's an ask of what's something that's simple and readily apparent that you can right away point to.
Like
I'm so used to pointing to something and then just getting the blank stare, but I still point to it, and it's like I'm trying to think of something I can point to that won't get the blank stare, which is like.
I'm trying to think of something controversial. Let me see. What about this entire 50-50 thing? I know you spoke about this in Timeless Knowledge Tour, where like even just the other day, and this is where I think I forgot this lady name. She says if her husband didn't want her to work, I'm not sure if you saw that, she would probably need like $50K a month from her husband. Have you?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, yeah, that was yeah. I'm assuming she makes that herself, but she said if her husband didn't want her to work and be a stay-at-home wife, she would need $50K from him every month. Where do you think those type of thinkings derive from? Like that framework?
As Mike says, like we're cut off of the awareness of it, but it does still run in the background. It's a weird mind game living inside of it. Yeah, it's because it can't stop. It's like I said, this stuff's not hidden. It's always there, but it has a lot to do with how you're approaching it and how you're framing the idea. But Western culture goes out of its way to insist upon cutting it out. It's Western culture has purported itself or postured itself to insist that this necessary interiority of reality, the meta in metaphysics, is not necessary. It's not necessary. That's how naturalists will propose it. You point to what they call supernatural, they'll say, well, it's not necessary, which is a judgment call. There's a particular line you already drew right here at the premises, and that's going to determine where we end up. And it's not to say don't draw any lines. It's to say, look, the line is defining where you're going to end. And so the choice is there at the root. How you're choosing to participate is there at the beginning. And it's not simply some rational conclusion you've come to. No, it was nested in your premises. So yeah, this question. I gotta go this way, right? Yeah, this question. Typically, I try and stay away from current events, because current events really gets caught up in the whole "do I agree or disagree? What's my reaction?" And to me giving you that almost feels like me encouraging you to interpret me through your emotions. It's like lobbing the ball for you to knock it out the park in a certain way. And I don't want you to just knock it out the park and feel a certain way. I want to throw you a fastball. I want to throw you a curve because I want you to be able to hit the ball. And I want you to also to notice if you can't hit the ball and why. Because look, you can't agree or disagree unless you understand. And if you jump straight to whether or not you agree or disagree, you've already presumed that you understand, which I would highly encourage you to be suspicious of. But neither here nor there. So I usually try to stay away from current events, but I do understand. I think I understand where this question is aiming. What's something that I don't have to look too far for, where I can start to see some of what you're pointing me towards, and here's the caveat with that. Insofar as I can show you something that's not too far, the only way you're really going to get it is if you're willing to go too far. And so if I point to you the thing that's pointing to the larger stuff I'm talking about, and the furthest you go is to the thing that I pointed to, you don't get what I gave you. All right, it's like I got my hand here and I'm pointing. Oh, I'm pointing up and I'm pointing at the moon. Right? Because I'm pointing at the moon because that's where I need to draw you. But if the furthest you go is my hand that's pointing, you're necessarily going to miss what I'm saying. So that's usually why I'm not big on trying to convey to you how to interpret current events. And the other thing, because I got to get back to it, because this is one of the things I'm learning in the guild. It's not enough for me to say it. I have to say it again and again and again and again until it hits something that you make the decision to actually be suspicious of the understanding you already had. Because when you read me through your emotions, it's going to feel like, hey, we're on the same team. Hey, he gets it. And it's like, no, I'm not on your team. I'm not on your team. Well, then now I'm upset. Why don't you want to be my friend? It's like, you've missed what I'm talking about. You've missed it. And you don't even realize you've missed it. For me, that's what's more important. But, that sense of being connected to others, the parasocial thing. Anyways, I got to get back to the masculinity side. I'm not sure when I want to pick it up again, but I'm most certainly going to need to. For the same reasons I have to keep doing the guild and develop something even more different. Man, I hate students. God. But yeah, so I'm taking this question here, but I wanted to give that caveat. But this has been suggested to me to talk about current events. And, man, I'm just not interested in it. But gotta dig there, right? Gotta fucking dig. So here, let's listen to my answer. Please get back to the masculine stuff. I need it for sure at this moment. Well, then go back through the TKT. See, this is part of. I have to learn to get behind this. And look, insofar as I'm going to work on learning to be more understanding, double back on the TKT and challenge how well you understood with it. Because anything else I come out with, I guarantee you it's already there. Anything else I'm going to come out with on the masculinity, I guarantee you it's already in the TKT, Timeless Knowledge Store. And you haven't listened enough or deeply enough. I can guarantee, but fuck that, right? If you feel like you haven't got it yet, you feel like you've done enough, and you feel like you need something else, me saying that isn't enough. I get it. So I'll find a way to say the same thing over and over again because it's necessary. I get it. Is Gargoyle Gang still in the future schedule? Oh yeah. Gargoyle Gang is most certainly in the future. But I'm wrestling with it in a certain way. And it's a wrestling match I already know I can't do on my own. That's part of what I'm wrestling with. But yeah, it's still there. Man, see, look, I got so much stuff in them. I got so much stuff that I'm moving towards. But you can only move with others insofar as they can get in line with the vision. You got to teach babies how to see and chew, and it's a whole thing, man. But it's cool. It's cool. It's the job. I'm here for the role. Talking about current events like this is what's happening if you ignore everything I'm saying. Kinda. But it's like it's almost like a this is what I've been saying, and now you're seeing it. Hey, this just it. This is what's happening now, and it's like. Not only do I think it manufactures a false sense of urgency, because it's not to say there's no urgency, it's that the urgency is in a different direction. It's urgent for another reason. But in a lot of ways, I think me talking about current events doesn't shake you out of your current trajectory. And that's what I'm interested in, is breaking you out of your current trajectory. Not finding some other way to give this to you that allows you to remain comfortable in your current trajectory. Like, bruh, even the stuff I'm giving in the guild is baby food. There's so much space where look, you can keep all these other things. You just have to deal with this little thing over here. And that one thing will be like, no. And I'm like, what the, like, because really, I want to get it the way you got it. Well, you got to take care of all these things at once with no instruction. No, it's difficult. It's scary. No. Okay, well then just do this one thing. And that's really the crux of it all. It's the control. It's the fear. It's the unknown. It's the avoidance. It's the bullshit. It's fucking baby food. So yeah, with current events, I don't want to keep you comfortable in your current trajectory. You need a different one. Focusing on the shit never cleans up the shit. Look at the shit. Let's not, right? Look, motherfuckers won't even look at the shit, let alone clean it up, let alone begin to cultivate the systems that will maintain the cleanliness, let alone, which is where you want to get to, begin cultivating systems that will move it forward. Fuck. Tell me whether or not you agree with what's going on right now. Bro, fuck that shit. You should do your research. No, let me get into it.
I was trying not to be a dick, but I'd say that derives from delusion. That derives from not knowing what any of those things mean, but trying to express how you feel about it. Like when people say something like, well, 99% of something is something. It's like, they're not giving you an actual statistic. They're using 99% to convey a feeling of really, really, really. And it sounds like 50K is trying to convey a feeling. And maybe that's something I can point to here. It's our new religion. And so a lot of times people will think of religion as this set of beliefs that I agree that I hold, that I proclaim that I hold, but I'm damn it. Look, I'm trying not to point deeper, but it's like I'm pointing a little bit deeper. It's so in the word religion is religio, and the way I like to think about it, because there's a lot more ways you can think about the word religio, but as a sort of binding to, and the first thought is, well, I'm me and I don't want to be bound by anything, and okay, I get the feeling. Well, let's keep going, because there's this orientation that says to be bound in any way is a limit to my own freedom. But then we're not clear on what we mean by freedom. Is that just free to do whatever, or because look, the crackhead who cannot stop doing crack, he's free, but that doesn't come with no cost. Do you really want to be free to do that to yourself? You look back and you're like, oh, I wish somebody would have done that. Well, hold on, that's them trying to constrain you somehow. So there's a place in which to be free isn't a way to be free from yourself. And so it's not just being able to do whatever. It's there's a structure and an order. There are constraints to it. And so when I'm talking about our new religion, um, to put it simply, it's fear and money. But to actually give that its space is because it's easy to look at everyone else and say everyone else is obsessed with money, because there's the validation, and I was right about it, and okay, but further than that, it's when I say we worship money, it's the root of all of our solutions. Like it's the way to the solution to everything, and like so you go back to Christianity. Christ is the way to the solution to everything. Like your participation in the relationship you have with Christ is the way to any solution you could think of, and so that's what I mean by our new religion. It's trying to find the solution to your problems. So often, money is sitting there in that beautiful place where it's shining and it's bright and it draws your attention so readily. And the funny thing about that is you don't even need to know much about the nature or the concept of money. You just need to be able to see it as the thing, the means that gets you to this beautiful, perfect end. And so when I'm saying our God is money, it's the common denominator for why you do. Because suddenly someone doesn't give you anything, and you're like, well, what did I get for what I do? And we've become numb to what you can get that's valuable that isn't money. Like money is like the only language we know how to speak of in terms of value, even if you don't really know much of what money is.
Yeah, I'm kind of long-winded, and I'm answering this question in different parts, and this is sort of the first part, because it's not as simple as the mere proposition I give, and so I'm trying to make sure I open it up. It's our new religion of, and this comes with the secular Western physicalism. Our religion, our central axis of unity is money. It's where we put all of our notions of value. It has the most primary notion of value for us. Insofar as I'm doing something valuable, and so I need to be getting money for it. Because look, being a wife who stays at home, that's very valuable. There's work that's involved. But the conclusion that I need to be monetarily compensated for it is telling of something else. So you aren't wrong if the thing you were going to do is valuable. But what you get for that value is where you're messing up. And insofar as your allegiance to that, see, we end up monetizing everything. Motherfucker can't even have a hobby. Ooh, I need to turn this into a business. Like, it's not. I'm trying to. This is why I don't like current events or talking about just the surface of a thing. Because motherfuckers could chase money and not notice that they don't know anything about money. Why is the thing that you're calling money money? What makes that dollar bill money? What makes it a dollar bill? What is finance? This finance isn't just money. I could have said money. It's completely different. Currency. There's a depth to the thing that you're chasing that you don't notice. And it's part of why you're chasing it, because you don't notice the depth. And if you notice the depth, you wouldn't chase it. Hell, you probably, if you were still going to chase it, you'd be chasing it a completely different way. When I say it's our religion, it's so often the shining bright light that draws us towards what we consider a solution to the predicaments that we're in. And look, money isn't the only place we do it. We do it very much with the physical world. Like, look, the idea of a secular state. This comes out of Europe again. This is the tradition we're in. Our notions of morality and ethics have always been tied up in our metaphysics and our orientation beyond the mere appearance of the physical world. All right, like you go back to the Platonic stuff, right? The good. The good is not a mere judgment of an action. It's a metaphysical reality with which, if you're oriented, the rest of your actions are colored good. So it's not speaking about some property of your actions, but the orientation of your acting. We have no sense of what is good, but we, at the same time, chase the notion of being a good person. And you don't look too deep at that, because maybe if you actually look too deep, you end up measuring yourself with it. And then you're not a good person. The whole good person thing usually bottoms out at what you like to think how you should be. See, on the one hand, we reject the idea of being limited by anyone else's conception of what a good person is. But at the same time, we have a little notion of a good person. And we're looking at everyone else through it. There's a large undercurrent today of the spirit of rebellion, the spirit of deconstructing everything. And that's not real. That's not real. It's called the hermeneutics of suspicion. Or skepticism is the tool. It is the tool. And you go around cutting and cutting and cutting, trying to find something that skepticism can't touch. And that's a misunderstanding of the tool you're using. Oh, skepticism can touch anything. But you have it facing the wrong way. You got to turn it back on that thing that's being skeptical. The being whose being is in question. What is you? You need to turn that knife on that. That's where you're going to find what you're looking for. This rebellion against limitation. The rebellion against constraints. I'm only free once I have no limitations. And it's a misunderstanding of what limitations are, what utility they have, what functions they serve. Constraints have purpose, not just to limit you and oppress you, you narcissistic little fuck. Like the example I give. Look, you need limitations. Okay, let's play a game. Well, the next step after that is to ask, well, what are the constraints? Because without them, you can't play a game. You need them in order to proceed, to participate. There is no freedom without some form of constraint. And if you're thinking of freedom as this constraintless, limitless thing, you've missed constraint, limit, and freedom. You don't understand them. Jordan Peterson quote, which I think is actually wonderful. And I can't remember, I think he got it from somewhere else, but I can't remember where he said he got it from. But anyways, if God is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omnipotent, what does it lack? Omnipotent, knows everything, omnipresent, is everywhere, omnipotent, is in everything. If it is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, what is it missing? And the answer is limitation. This pursuit of some completely neutral, unbiased, wholly clear perspective from nowhere is it comes from a very specific place. Look, the history of Christianity, right? First of all, Christianity sterilizes Valhalla. So where all the enchanting and enriching variety of the cosmos you'll get from other pantheons outside of these, some of the monotheistic ones, you end up distilling all of that into a singular being. So that's the first. It's not saying it's wrong, but it's the first particular kind of twist, okay? And it kind of affords you the next steps that go along. And so what comes out of that, Christianity coming out of Europe eventually, especially the Western Catholic side of it, starts to twist the notion even further. And it's like, well, it's not just this, just one God. In fact, this is the one true God. This is the one. And if you got the one true God, what happens? Now you have the one true way. So it goes from being just one God to the one God. If it's the one God, it's the one way. And you can see the way Europe interacted with the rest of the world and continues to do so is part of that trajectory. But then what happens after that, though? Okay, after the Renaissance, we get into the Enlightenment. All right, and that grip, that communication between scientia and religio, the communication between what was once called natural philosophy, in terms of this new thing we know now we call science, their contact further and further away. You can even see it in people like Rene Descartes, Francis Bacon. These people, they were not denying the existence of their Christian God. You get the mythos as though science and religion are always in battle and throughout the ages they've fought. And it's like, no. The things we know of as science and religion today were not in some long epic battle. See, that particular story doesn't come around until the late 1900s. No, late 1800s, excuse me. That's the 19th century. Late 1800s, early 1900s. That's where that story, once again, out of Europe, starts to materialize itself as though this is a progress towards rationality. Because what happened? Look, you go from the one true way, the one true God, the one true religion, and all of that is feeding their particular view of science. But eventually, it becomes so scattered, so many different fields speaking different languages. How do we solidify this idea of what a scientist is? And the solution was to define itself against the new category they make called religion. See, the idea of religion didn't exist anywhere else. It didn't exist anywhere else. The idea of the supernatural as a category didn't exist anywhere else. But that's what we have today. And it comes out of that late 1800s, early 1900s European position where the natural sciences had to solidify themselves. Because up to that point, they had been feeding off of what we would call religion. That was the only thing that validated them. It was the underlying structure. It was the philosophy underneath their methodologies. So when you get to a place where naturalism now has to stand on its own, the only way it can stand is defining itself against the roots it came from. That's where you get the naturalism, supernaturalism divide. This is where you get the science and religion schism. They say, well, this is religion and this is science. And so what was the one true way of being in the world, the one true religion, gives rise to the scientific perspective, this one true neutral way of looking at the world. It has all the same structure from Christianity, just kind of cuts out the God part, or at least postures itself as though that's what's happened. You go from the one true religion to the one true neutral way of thinking and seeing the world. Right. This stuff don't just come out of nowhere. It's not just the end results of ration and progress. That's another European fairy tale. That's another colonizer narrative to justify the actions. And we see the results of those actions throughout the 20th century, so all the 1900s. You're not going to engineer utopia. And you'd be surprised. Look, a lot of the reasoning that the early so-called scientists were using is like, look, they're going off of the notion of the fall from Christianity. Adam and Eve kicked out of the Garden of Eden. That's the fall. And so what they're trying to do is reclaim the dominion they had from the fall. Like, we don't need to wait for God to come and tell us. We can reclaim our dominion. That's really what he'd want us to do. And then going so much further, well, we don't need God. We can just reclaim this. Even further, there is no God. It's just us. And then when you get where we are today, well, really, I'm God. And see, that's what happens when you're untethered from the heaven. Nietzsche talked about it. See, Nietzsche's solution to being untethered from the heaven is what is called the Ubermensch, the Superman, the God-man. And this is where you are with your, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. It becomes the religion of me. And this is why I have to ask, well, what is you? There's a history to these things. And just knowing the history doesn't give you the mystery, but you can't understand the mystery unless you're going to understand the history. Like I said, I can't give you everything you need, but it's not hidden. I can damn sure point you in different places, but it's not hidden. I actually enjoy the subject, so I can talk about it all day. It'd be fun for me, but when it's fun for me, it's usually not fun for everybody else. Well, yeah, ourselves have become God, although we don't know what the hell that is. Money become God. Once again, don't know what the hell that is. The state, the position, this is the thing about a secular state. The position the divine used to hold in relation to the state, which then was in relation to the people who created the state. Now the state holds that. It's the government. The government. No notion of civics. Right? What is a government? What is a government as opposed to the government? How is a government formed? How does the one you're living under work? What's your role in it? Instead, just this big mysterious thing out there, the government. It goes right back to money. It's right there on that dollar bill. When Socrates would go out into the market and he question a person until they break, it's called aporia. So it's like, okay, what are you here in the market for? Oh, I'm looking for some things that I need to buy. Oh, so you know what you need to buy. How do you know what you need to buy? Well, there are things I need in life. There's this thing and that thing. Oh, so then are you telling me that if you don't have those things, there's no longer a you? Well, yes, well, kind of, because if I don't have this and I don't have that, then what will I do? But you don't know what you will do. How do you know you couldn't do anything? And it goes back and forth, back and forth. Don't question me, because at a certain point you hit the I don't know where I am anymore. What's going on? Why are we talking? What's happening? It's called aporia. It's sort of a breaking down of you and your relationship to the world, and thus the breaking down of the world just sort of end up lost and Usually, if you're avoiding this feeling, you'll be frustrated. You'll be angry. That's mostly the result you get. But that place of aporia, the other side of that, is where I'm trying to point you to. Because it's where you're going to find the things you're looking for. Well, insofar as you're actually looking to get into spiritual work, which most times you're just looking for a better physical life, some other way to get money. There was a time where all the things we chase money to give us, we gave ourselves. And these things were nested in our communities, our cultures, our traditions. But we abandoned those communities, cultures, and traditions. So as not to be limited by anything. Now, you can say there's certain people who run the world. Are those people radical individuals? No. They're working together in a community. They hold a tradition. They're not radical individuals. But yeah, be a radical individual with no limitation, no constraint. And of course, you'll be lost. When did it switch? When we abandoned the culture? Well, that's in the history. Insofar as the being colonized, this is why I say it's a colonizer mindset. And it's not to, oh, look at them. It's like, no, you've adopted it. So when did we abandon the culture? Before you can get to the when did we, you got to really take a good look at where did you agree to this new thing? I couldn't help it. I was in it. No. You got to dig a little deeper. Because look, it's one thing to say, this is how I was raised. Okay. There's another thing to say, this is what I've continued to agree to and perpetuate. And didn't question, didn't think to question. And that's where the blood's on your own hands. It's not, you can't be, of course, you can't be blamed for what was going on before you got here. But you can be held accountable for how you've been participating since you've been here. So, I mean, to really get an answer you're looking for, and when did we abandon? Because you had a question, what we you talking about, right? Because then things get confusing. The first thing you got to do is, when did I agree to what I've been doing? And I really don't know what's going to happen if you figure out when. But because I'd be more focused on, well, how am I still agreeing to it? How am I doing it now? You know, and then that'll usually open up the rest of the stuff. But you know, there can be different ways of going about it. It happens at different times for different parts of the society, and for different reasons, and in different ways. So it's not a clear, concise answer, because I can tell history in the form of a story, but that's only for me conveying it. But history is happening right now. So it's not just a linear story. That's the way I can present it. I can give you the rhetoric. But I'm using the rhetoric to try and point you beyond the thing I'm presenting you, which I can't capture in the rhetoric. This is why I gave you the Zach guy. I gave you Professor Peter. Both of them can talk about that history I'm pointing you to. I've been putting it in the book I've been writing. Look, it's big, and if you're hoping the answer you get is short, concise, and simple, you're going to be disappointed. And if the disappointment is going to stop you, you'll never get the answer you're looking for. So yeah, look at me, long-winded, right? Let me continue the interview.
And the other one was fear. And this kind of gets into the limitation thing, where no one wants to think of themselves as limited or having limitations. But fear is similar. Like, no one wants to think, I'm a fearful person. I have fears that are crippling me. Those are usually the worst people in terms of fear anyway. But when I say fear, I'm kind of pointing to that avoidance we mentioned earlier that comes with, okay, I see it as negative, and so there's a natural tendency to try to avoid it. That momentum of avoiding, I think, is in that religion. And so it's like, I'm gonna avoid everything if it's not money. Any aside from money, I'm really trying to avoid the rest of this shit. Um,
Yeesh.
and so just that notion
Mm,
that what's gonna make being a stay-at-home wife valuable is being paid for. Is being paid in money speaks a lot to the shape of us these days,
mm, mm,
and how much we because we'll want the community, but and I heard this on Instagram is that everybody wants a village, but no one wants to be a villager. Like in money, it's like we get the value of the village without having ourselves to participate in the village any more than we really want to. So you're participating in the village enough to go get the job and have them give you a paycheck. But then like when everything gets framed in terms of money, everything becomes a job. There's nothing that you do in life that isn't some kind of job then. And job is kind of it's heavy. It's I don't want to be here. Why I gotta
mm,
do this? And so when you put money up there, you sort of lose the inability to approach anything openly. Like you don't really approach a job in that kind of openness. Like the way in which you approach things you love. Like you kind of lose the ability. Like money becomes love. Like that's the only thing you seem to be bound to, and that's the religion, the religio part. It's the only thing that you'll bind yourself to. Yeah. So look, I'm trying to point to something on the surface, and then here I go, right?
No. I appreciate that. Yeesh. And I think even when you're saying that, avoiding how apparent that almost seems to me is like a case too. I'm like, what you just said? I'm just sitting here like, duh. Like, but it's like I see that, but I would like, It's like I can see that. But it's like to explain or examine and examine how that's the case. I couldn't see, but it was like, yeah, I see that, but it's like you don't see it as deep as you went, and I didn't see it that way. I'm like, probably because I'm in the mix, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In order to really to push past the seeing you pointed to, so you're like, I see it, but there's a depth that's missing. You have to see how you're participating in it too, to really grab it. Because sometimes we like to look at it, see it, analyze it as though we're not part of it. We got on the high horse a little bit, but it's like, no, you have to be in the mud to see it that way. You have to see that you have to be willing to see the blood on your own hands. Where you're in.
Right.
Hopefully that don't scare you away from the entire endeavor. Yeah.
Oh man. See that? Huh. Sheesh. Nah, that should have led to somewhere else. Cause now I want to ask another question, but I won't treat this like a session, right? Gotta pay for that. Like, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. But wow, okay.
Yeah, you're damn right. Gotta pay for it. Look, man. And I'll be real about that. Yeah, I'm gonna have you pay because you don't have anything else of value to give me. Like, look, people who have something of valuable for me, I'm not gonna charge you. In fact, look, I give you so many things that you don't pay for. And it's like, unless you're paying for it, it's not valuable. But this is something I found. There's something in there that's more valuable than money. Like I said, I've had people pay me and then avoid me. And then keep paying me. And it's like, whatever it is that's keeping you around, that you're wrestling with here, it's more valuable than the money. I don't know how to put my finger on it. I'm interested. But yeah, it's a little more valuable than money. But sometimes it takes the money to notice. Because you had to notice how deeply you're invested in that. Well, yeah, I use money as, look, it's something valuable you have. It's probably the most valuable thing to you. Right, look, I take something from you that you don't value. You're not going to value what I gave you. Hell, you probably have a hard time valuing anything anyone gives you. Or valuing anything because you're scared to make the wrong choice. You're scared to give yourself to something. You're scared to bind yourself to something. And the only thing you will bind yourself to is money. So I gotta use that. But look, I don't charge everybody. You can start to give me something more valuable than that. I don't mind not charging you. The fuck you think your little $300 doing? But you pay $300 one season. After that, I'm having you pay half of that as an incentive for you to stick to it. If I'm not getting rich off your little 300. I'm definitely not getting rich off your 150. The fuck you mean? But stop. Yeah, man, the thing is bigger than money. It's bigger than money, but money is the only thing you got. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with you? I was like, look, the girl be like, you just want me for the sex. Well, if sex is all you've got, I mean, yeah. Well, what else do you sell here? And if you don't sell nothing else, like, what are you upset about? Look, that's a whole conversation to get into, right? What are you upset about then? What book you writing? It's a book surrounding the Bookman model. Look, there's most of what's in there. It's in the lectures in the guild. It's in the sessions in the guild. Now, because the medium is different, I can do a whole bunch of things I can't just do in a lecture. I can actually do some of the research for you, but only some. Because you still actually have to do the research. I don't want to research anything. I just want to feel my way in it. I just want to kind of get the vibe of it, man. Get the fuck out of here. Vibing. I appreciate the stuff you put up for free because so much of it's already posted. People are stingy with their likes on social media, and those are free. Boggles the mind. Because look, that's what I mean. Our notion of valuable is only in money. That's why when you give some people things for free, they don't realize that they're paying somewhere. Because their notion of what they're paying is so myopic and honed in to their little understanding of money. They don't realize when they're paying with something else. And hopefully you don't realize that too late. Oh, I'm giving this away for free. No, you're the product. Shit. Wow. But insofar as you're deeply susceptible to bullshit, you'll go out of your way not to notice that. You'll go out of your way not to notice that. You will avoid noticing it. You'll avoid noticing it. It's kind of, leans right into fear is our God as well. Thinking about how much, not just what you're motivated to do, what you avoid doing, what you don't want to have to see versus what you do want to have to see. How much of it is shaped by what you're afraid of. And once again, hear me out. I'm not saying have no fear. I'm not saying ignore fear. I'm saying you can't see past it. It's all you're using. That's different. That's very different. So you can't, not only can you not pursue this work, you can't pursue anything that way. That's why I say play to win. You can use that anywhere. You don't even have to get spiritual with it. Because you're never going to approach the win you claim to want actively avoiding the loss you don't want. So you probably don't even want to win. You just don't want to lose. And that's something very different than winning. That's the coward's way. No one wants to look at themselves in the mirror and say, I'm looking at a coward. No one wants to do that. And I get it. It's not comfortable. It hurts. You don't feel like you know what to do next. You feel lost. I get it. It's not that doesn't mean anything. It's that the point isn't over there. The point isn't over there. Not to say there's nothing over there, there's no value. I'm not saying that. It's that, look, you need to look over here to see. You need to look over here to see. So in the place where we would have had the divine guiding our choice, the cultivation of our relationship with Christ, guiding our choice, the way we orient it to the world, what we consider the world to be, the way those things used to guide, what does it now is your fear and money, and by virtue of money, the state. All of which you're ignorant of. But for the most part, I don't care if I'm ignorant of it. Just tell me what to do. Well, now we're just caught in the procedures. Well, if I know this particular fact about it, then once I know that, I'll be free and I'll know how to get out of it. There's your propositional side. It's like, no, you still missed it. You cannot get away. You cannot get away. Like the example I like to give is like, look, like let's say I'm explaining to somebody how a car works, and their perspective they're taking, they're coming from a place where I want to know how to use the car. And so I'm telling them about the alternator, the transmission, the catalytic converter, right? And they're like, well, how do I use the car? And that's a different conversation. That's a very different conversation. No, it's true. If you understand what the car is enough, how to use it becomes obvious. And so if you claim or feel as though, right, you know enough of what it is, but how to use it isn't obvious yet, you probably don't really understand what it is. Because look, there's a certain point, if once I've explained to you what each and everything is in the car, how these pieces are interacting with each other, the fact that that driver's seat and the steering wheel are where you sit to control the car becomes obvious at a certain point. But that's a lot of digging you got to do to get to that. Now, I could just go and start you off, okay, well, here's how you use the car. And then you get the procedure you wanted. But what happens when the car doesn't do what you want it to do? Now you're destitute of the knowledge you need on what the car is. And instead of being a car, it now becomes a problem. You need both of them, and you need them in communication. So that way you can understand beyond them. There's a type of knowing you need beyond the propositions and the procedures. The medium / the message you were talking about earlier has been sticking. Wrestling with my conception of medium to how you were explaining it. It was hella shallow with what I thought a medium was / is. And you know, this is with the metaphysics. I'm so serious about the Trinity. Because there's a way in which you can look at, like, okay, you got 1, 2, and 3. You can just look at 2 as a medium, as something that things go through. And you're not wrong you're only wrong about the just part. It is a medium, but it's not just a medium. Like, it's its own thing as well. Like, there are depths to these concepts. And usually if you're missing it there, because you'll come into this, you think you know what a word is even though you haven't looked it up, and then you look it up and you see all these different senses of the word, and that's tracking the depth that the word gives you access to that you haven't used yet. And so especially when you start to broaden your understanding of the language you speak and how language works, your conceptions can start to reach depths that they weren't availed. They weren't availed. The diameter of your thinking, the circumference of your action, the sphere of your conception, just a little bit of change in diameter can open up a sphere much larger. I'm usually trying to point to the sphere of your conceptions. Fuck this guy, right? Why is he so angry? Not kidding. Man, I was feeling like I was going to win last autumn and like kick my ass to the curb and back. The fear came back, but I'm getting stronger at wrestling with it. Yeah, I think a good move is to really hear it out. Like, as opposed to wrestling with it to where I'm gonna subdue you, or I'm gonna get you out of here, or shut up, fear. It's like, no. Really hear it out. Like, really hear it out. Listen to it and have nothing to say. Like, really understand where it's coming from. Because look, maybe it's wrong about 90% of what it's giving you. But there's probably like a little 10%, maybe even a 1%, where it's dead on. And you need to listen to it. It's doing its job. Now, because of how you got it set up, probably can't do its job very well. Well, you know that is. You be in a job and management, the upper management, haven't set you up for the success you need to effectively do your job. Well, you'll still do your job. You just won't do it as good as you could because you weren't set up. And that's usually the relationship we have with fear. We're not setting it up to do a very good job. In fact, we're setting it up to go off like an alarm at damn near anything that isn't fucking perfect and comfortable and convenient. And we're not setting up the scenario to where we're oriented to be able to navigate chaos. We're instead setting it up to where we're oriented to avoid. That's where the fear is in charge. So fear is supposed to it has a utility. But you have to be in relation to it in a particular way. You have to be in relation to it in a particular way. This is not wrong for doing what it's doing. It's doing a job. Just like management has to set up their employees, you got to set it up. You got to set it up. You can't have it driving the car, but you damn sure can't kick it out. It's like a baby. You can't have that little motherfucker driving the car, but don't kick it out either. I've been listening like a shitty employee. I kept going, but I didn't like it at all the whole time. Yeah. Like I said, it's tough. Especially when you got all the momentum of not having done it that way. But it's the way through. The only way through is through. There's no workaround. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. And that's what I got. I don't have sprinkles or glitter. I don't have a smooth hug with some titty in it. Like, I don't even got that for me. What do you think I'm going to get it for anyone else? Oh, shit. Yeah. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. There's my rhetoric for you.
I mean, if you had another question, I don't mind.
I was hoping that answer to that led to somewhere else, but now it just has me pondering. I'm like, damn. So when because I've seen you prior, you've done a couple of these interviews. with people, some people I think that were not in the guild, and some. So
Hmm.
what exactly are the point of these interviews? What do you what are you aiming at? What's I guess.
Hmm. Um, the first one is be honest about it. I'm using you to say things I never could say myself, not out of not being able to try, but there's a coloring that I
Mm,
miss, and it's valuable in ways um, I most certainly know I can't convey. Um, and
mm,
so I try and give the space for that. One, I'm using you for that. Two, I'm also using you in the sense of I'm I'm very interested in where I can improve. Um, Sometimes people translate that into how they feel about me, which is look, I'm sure there's value in it. I'm not. I got to work on being able to pick that up. But I,
yeah,
I'm actually interested in the flaws in my form. 'Cause just me being right and great and wonderful, and like it's still nice, but it doesn't teach me about my form. And I'm
mm,
not that I'll make it perfect, but I'm perpetually interested in its flaws. Because they say things about me that I'm apparently not noticing that I want to notice. Um, another reason I do the interviews is I am actually very interested in hearing your experience from you, especially when you get a chance to ponder on it a little bit. That's why I like to give the questions first. So you don't feel like you're in a corner, but you also have time to chew on them and see what you have, as opposed to just having to kind of blurt it out. And it was the last reason. But
nah,
yeah,
it's all good.
I'm using you to do things I know I can't do,
Wait,
which I am
so I'm not getting
infinitely
paid.
grateful for.
I'm not getting
Oh,
paid.
hell no.
I'm joking.
Hell no.
Yeah, nah. He said, nah. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. This shit feel like work. No, like
Hmm.
it's the weekend. Nah, I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
No,
Okay.
I get it.
Yeah, because I've watched the ones that you did with other cohorts and some of that were, and it is interesting hearing and my favorite part is, and I thought I was gonna do is just watching them struggle to get to explain what they want. Like I feel like the struggling is very important as well, right? Because it's like I'm really trying to convey what I'm saying, and it's like I can't get it, but I want to. It's like it's almost like I don't know. I like that. I find it shows some type of dedication to me. Like it shows like the willingness, right, to
Hmm.
even see yourself struggle through your words, right, and just struggle through what do you. I just like it, but that's one of the things I want to work on as well.
Yeah, I think that's almost there at the end here. Um, that struggle. One way I like to frame what the guild is it's a safe space to struggle. It's not a space that's safe from struggle. No. So if you come in and you want to not have to struggle and you think that's what the space is going to provide you, no. It's a safe space to struggle. Now, if you're avoiding having to struggle, oh, the space is not going to feel safe. You're going to reject it. I've seen it. You'll either avoid it or outright reject it. So this is not a space that is safe from struggle. I go out of my way to try and take as much of the struggle that I can get out of it for you. But it doesn't get rid of all of it. In fact, there's some of it I make sure stays because it's necessary. That struggle, that pressure, that friction is necessary. I don't care if it feels like ass. If you don't like it, if it's not a good vibe, if you wish it were this, look, I'll listen to you say it. It's not going to change it. It's not going to change it. And typically after someone's gone through it, they can tell me, I can see this was necessary. Before your parents whoop you, it took me becoming an adult to realize what it meant when they said, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. Like as a kid, the belt is coming, bare ass is out, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? What kind of stupid shit is that? I'm about to get hurt. It's going to hurt. There's no way it's going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me. Yeah, I get it now. No, I get it now. Here's how I frame it too. Let's say my kid stole something, right? And they got caught and sent home to me. And I'ma whoop their ass. What do I mean when I say this is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you? Because I don't want you to ever have to hurt. If I could get rid of all the struggle, I would. Take all the struggle on myself, I would. I go out of my way to take most of the struggle on myself. But this one, I can't excuse you of. And I have to give you this pain out of love. Because the motherfucker that don't love you is going to give you even more pain than I'm giving you right now. And you're not going to listen to nothing else but the pain. You're not going to listen to nothing else. I could say all day, don't steal. You're not going to listen until it hurts. And I get it. I get it. I don't want that to be the case, but I get it. Because look, we're lucky you got to come home after stealing something. We're lucky. Because if it had been left to just the people who don't give a fuck about you, you up under the jail for as long as they can put you in there and get paid for. We're lucky you're here and you can get your ass whooped as opposed to going and doing what they was going to do. Man, ignorance is bliss. It's so fucking irritating. Oh, man, I make this as easy as I can make it. I make this as easy as I can make it. But if you insist on showing up and not having to do anything you didn't already want to do, you're not going to get through it. I'm not budging. I'll be damned. After all this, I'm not budging. You can get mad, you can kick, you can throw a tantrum, you can call me names, you can yell. Don't give a fuck. In fact, I'll probably do it with you because I like it. I'm not budging. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to start studying, researching. You're going to have to challenge yourself. You're going to have to break parts of yourself on your own volition, but your own will that you don't want to have to get rid of. You're going to have to do it. I can't take that from you. It's the only thing you have. I can't take it from you. That's the only thing you really got, is your hand in that choice, is your hand in that participation. I can't take it from you. It's the only thing you got, and you got to learn to use it. You can talk to me about how it doesn't feel good to have to learn, how you miss not having to learn, how you wish it was this, and go ahead. Okay. I help you to feel heard. But that doesn't mean it's going to be different now. That don't mean it's going to change. Man, that struggle. That struggle is so necessary. Even if you don't like it, it doesn't feel good. You gotta learn not to mind the struggle. Embrace it. It's the only way you get to the runner's high. So yeah, in these interviews, I most definitely use clients and students to say things I know I can't say. So you're being used, and I don't want to lie about that. Yeah, I'm definitely using you to do the thing I can't do. Definitely. And I'm also I am interested in how clients and students intake what I'm giving. I'm always interested insofar as it's telling me about my form. Okay, like you tell me you don't like how it feels when I talk to you. Okay, there's that. Heard you, but I'm not gonna change that one. Like that one needs to stay. Okay, I heard you out. Not gonna change that one. Yeah. That's not what I'm interested. I'm interested in my form, not just how you felt from it. Like, look, oh wow, that looks so good. Oh wow, that looked like trash. Oh wow, that's a bit scary. All the language of emotion. It's wonderful if you have it. Wonderful if you want to express it. But how was my form? Like, where was I off? You know, so that way I can grow and not just feel like I'm growing. I swear, bro. A lot of folks, your development was arrested at the kindergarten level. There's a place back there, early grade school, where you stopped developing. It's in that emotional level, man. It's what I mean about the school trauma. It's in that emotional level. Like, it's not something that's rational and reasonable. It's something in the coloring, the way in which the world is now colored. I can't fix it for you. No. Like, it's happened. It happens a lot. Your development is arrested, and I have to be the one to let you know. And it sounds like an insult, but it's not. I could do much better with an insult. I'd have more fun. No, your development was arrested, and you participated in it. So I'm not just saying, because I am saying somebody fails you at a certain point. Yeah, but that's not all I'm saying. I'm saying at a certain point you started participating in it, and that's been most of your experience with it. You're participating in it. Yeah, it happened. Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it put you on course a certain way. You're absolutely right. But after it did that, you've been participating and perpetuating it. And no one wants to see it. It doesn't feel good. It hurts. But that's your issue. And you look in there, you'll find that choice I'm talking about. It's the only thing you fucking have. You may not like the choices you have, but that doesn't mean you don't have a choice. Mm-mm.
But I'm excited to get back in the guild as well. But again, I'm not gonna say everything out loud because I don't want to be held accountable when I get there. You said, "Boy, didn't you say in that video you was gonna do this? Like, you could lie to them people." I'm like, I'm joking. Like, you got people pulling up the video. You said right here, you was gonna read. You was gonna pick up buy a dictionary. Like, damn. Like, sorry, Your Honor. Okay. Like, yeah, so
You're gonna leave the back door for a little bit of bullshit, right?
Yeah. All right. You said that shit out. So you said that out loud? Yeah, I fucked up. Yeah. Everything you say, do shall be used against you.
You'll get what you ask for.
Right. Yeah, man. But I don't know if anybody would tell this, but thank you, man.
Wow, you're welcome. I appreciate it. As long as you're doing the work,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take the thank you all day.
Yeah, I'm usually not receptive to the thank you or the compliments because sometimes it's way too easy to give. I've far too often seen people who don't understand tell me I've done a good job. So people who are only thankful because it allowed them to avoid something where I paid the cost for it. So I'm usually not interested in those. But when you do the work, when you show the fuck up and you grow, I'll take your thanks all day. I usually point it back at you like, look, most of what was done is you, but I'll take the thanks for the little I was able to do. But if you're not gonna do the work, I don't care about your thank you and your compliments. Hey, Aries, you the GOAT. Shout out to Aries. Nigga, you ain't listening to me at all. What the fuck you think that gonna do? But piss me off. I don't care how you feel about me or anyone else. What did you learn? What did you learn? And see, this is where I gotta learn from the kindergarten teacher because there's something in feeling that's learning, and I just do not see it yet. Insofar as I'm not a kindergarten teacher, I can take my time coming around to it. Or at least I'd like to hope, right? So yeah, that's the show for today, man. That's the show for today. I want to thank Seymour for taking the time to do the interview. Like I said, definitely using you to say things I can't say. And if you stayed this long, thank you for participating, I guess, right? Welcome week. Tomorrow's the last day. After that, we start the season. And like I said, this season is the last season. It's going to be this price. After this, I'm definitely upping the price. One, because I've gotten much better at doing this. Two, because my competitors would charge you exponentially more for drastically less. Dastardly, in a way. How much less they're going to give you. But, hey, fuck Aries. He's just trying to sell his thing. That's not really the case. Great. You're right. Good job. Look how clever you are. You were right the whole time and you knew it. Great job. Sure, go fuck around and find out. You know where to find me.